Art Spotlight is delighted to be here today at Fotografiska Shanghai with the celebrated photographer Elizaveta Porodina. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm more than delighted to present my exhibition for the first time ever to the Chinese audience.
What does it mean for you to be here at Fotografiska Shanghai and to introduce your work to a wider audience in China?
Well, first of all, Fotografiska has been an ongoing collaboration for me. This is already the 5th installment of the exhibition, which has traveled to Berlin, to New York, to Tallinn, and to Stockholm. So this is almost a family matter of sorts, and to experience the unique chemistry of Shanghai and my images, and to see the reaction of the Chinese audience and Shanghai art lovers, it has been an incredible delight.
You mentioned you've been to 4 other Fotografiska locations already. Have you noticed a difference in the reception of your work between the different cultures, the different countries that you've been exhibiting in?
Nothing of substance in that sense, because I feel like my work speaks and addresses a specific sort of people who are very open to experiment, who are very open to a different way of approaching communication and states of mind, emotions. And I think as unique as people are all over the world, there's also something universal that unites people who feel addressed by my art and vice versa.
And you mentioned in previous interviews that authenticity and reaching our genuine selves is one of the key features of your work, the key things that you strive for. How do you know when you achieve that, and why is it important to you?
I feel like a photo shoot is almost like a ritual. It's a seance of sorts, and when people with creative essences come together, there is a synergy that is created in the room. We all manifest an image together. We all direct our energy towards the subject, the model, the muse. And there is a certain je ne sais quoi sort of ball of energy that cannot go unmissed. It is something that you just, I invite you to be in the room with us and you will feel it too. You will see it and you will feel it. It's something that doesn't need further explanation. It's a thing that is to be felt and experienced.
You mentioned that for Unmasked, your current exhibition here, it came together for you very easily. It was a natural process that you mentioned. Can you describe the thought process behind the creation of that exhibition, and what narrative threads might our viewers notice when they come to see it?
Yeah. That's a great question, as it really reflects the process that I had to go through to shape my work further and carve the body of work. I have realized that if I want to present my work in an authentic way, and if I want to connect and tell a truthful story about my own state of mind at the time of the creation, that I need the work and the broader patterns to reflect my mental body, if that makes sense. So I've tried to, with the different rooms of the exhibition, I've tried to reflect the chambers of my heart, of my mind. And so every room stands for a different influence, a different inspiration, a different corner of my of the basement of my mind, pulled out of the darkness of my subconscious, and the audience is invited to experience it on multiple layers, on multiple levels, and to reflect upon it.
You mentioned obviously the state of mind that you're involved in when you're in your creation process. Some of our viewers might not know about your background in clinical psychology. I appreciate you probably get asked this in every interview, but could you just introduce that background for us? It's a fascinating part of the beginning of your career.
I think it is important to reflect upon that. As you say, clinical psychology is my first profession, and it has definitely informed my artistic vocabulary. This is something that I got into when I was 18 and I graduated from school, and I decided that I'm not ready yet to go on the full-fledged artistic path, as my enthusiasm, my drive, my life force wasn't strong enough, so I needed to strengthen myself first and learn also about myself first. And I delved into clinical psychology. I studied for 5 years. I became a clinical psychologist, and I worked in psychiatry for 2 years, working with clients with various mental health problems. And it has really greatly informed me about the human experience, the human condition, about what kind of human I want to be, how I want to treat people, how I want to be treated. And it has informed my, as I mentioned, artistic vocabulary in terms of what concepts about the human condition, about the humanity, about human emotion and behavior do I find inspiring, and how do I want to translate them visually? How do I want people to connect with it?
I think you'd mentioned previously around 2019 you experienced quite a significant change in your approach to your art. Could you describe that for us?
I think that every artist has moments, different phases in their artistic career where they feel that there is a ceiling or a plateau that is reached, and one finds oneself in the position of questioning everything. How can I move further from a place of uncertainty? What is it about my work that I truly love? What is it that I reflect myself truly into? And that was a moment of like a spring cleanse, I guess, where I just really went through my entire work, and I think I set a lot of it on fire, symbolically speaking, and some of it I cherished and I put forward, and I asked myself, how can I laser focus? How can I sharpen the tool? How can I be more precise? How can I carve more carefully? And how can I really say what I want to say with less words and with more emotion? And I feel like I have distanced myself metaphorically and literally from a lot of influences and just tuned in more to my inner voice, this specific radio channel that everyone can find within themselves, but maybe sometimes chooses not to listen to, maybe out of lack of courage, maybe out of disinterest. But I decided that that would be interesting to me, so I tuned in to my own inner voice.
And how does that manifest in your work, would you say, in the most recent projects you've been working on?
I feel like it has taken a very strong direction towards a narrative that is both very staged and experimental and allows for a lot of coincidences and unexpected occurrences, a lot of mistakes, and that reflect as truthful emotional moments that actually occur on the stage between me and the subject. And those are the things that I love most about my work, that there is a seamless and fluid combination of something that is crafted and perfected, and something that is unexpected, playful, and childlike.
And perhaps the last question, in one of your interviews you mentioned about placing your models in a position of vulnerability, essentially, and I thought that was an interesting word to use. How does your background, particularly when we're referring to clinical psychology, how does that affect the way that you prepare and interact with people in that position? And just as a further question, when you're dealing with especially famous people, as you have done, world-famous celebrities, is there a difference in your approach towards a regular person, let's say?
So regarding the first question, my biggest general preparation for treating people in a way how I imagine it is a place of authentic admiration and interest. I admire people that I photograph for their courage and for their openness, for their lack of vanity, for their lack of limits that they set for themselves or for myself, and for their willingness to explore unexpected, just different things that might feel uncomfortable first, but then will lead you to something that is unique and unseen. And I think that this admiration translates in a way of speaking and in a way of communication on set that hopefully puts people at ease. And the other leitmotif is I put myself in the exactly same vulnerable position, and I want people to know that I will be the first one, and that is literally and metaphorically speaking. Literally, I will be the first one to do the pose first, to go on the fence first and dance there naked or whatever. And I'm very aware, and I make also the person very aware of the fact that when I ask them to do a certain thing, it also says just as much about myself and reveals just as much. It's essentially a self-portrait just as much as it is a portrait of that person. So it is a story about me as well. And to your other question, I don't treat talent, I don't treat celebrities like a different matter, because I don't believe it is necessary. I believe that you always meet people on the day of. Everyone is a multitude of different versions of themselves, and there can be no preconceived, prejudiced image of someone that I stamp upon them and expect something, because that would be cruel and just not nice, neither for me nor for them. I believe that it's important to be open and present in that moment, and to allow people to act the way how they feel.
Excellent.
Yeah. In this specific image that is representative of the room that is called Celestials in my exhibition, we can find my fascination and obsession with all things shiny and sparkly, combined with inspirations from my early childhood. In post-Soviet Russia, you could see a melange of overloaded, overbearing, heavy aesthetics of Orthodox churches combined with the brutalist architecture. I found the same twist of paradoxically combined inspirations in my mother, who is this amazing, intelligent, educated, smart woman who showed me amazing things in art, but also had a fascination for snow globes. And in this particular chamber, I'm trying to combine these things. In this image that I view as pretty much representative of the entire exhibition, the other day I found myself at the restaurant in the museum facing this particular image that is also exhibited there, and I felt a strong, different type of connection to it, as now I'm 4 years separated from the creation of the image. I suddenly saw elements in it that I didn't see clearly before, which is the ability of the human being to constantly change, constantly transform, put on different masks, seamlessly switch in between them and still stay authentic and true to themselves. So we're standing in front of an image of the amazing actress Jo Dong-yu, who I shot back in 2020 for the cover of Vogue China. This marked an incredibly important collaboration for me, but also because I didn't shoot it while being physically present, but instead of it, I shot it over Zoom. During the outbreak of the epidemic or pandemic, we obviously were not able to travel to China to shoot this, and I was so grateful to be able to have found a way to stay creative, to stay mentally and creatively present and active as an artist, and work with people all over the world, connect and share our impressions together. We are finding ourselves in front of one of the images from the chamber Acid Venus. I'm very inspired. I always was very inspired by classical painting, by visual art from the Renaissance and expressionists, impressionists, surrealism. But the idea of a woman in many of those images and of many of the artists who created the images is deeply flawed by the patriarchy and the misogyny behind it. Acid, in the name of Acid Venus, stands for my take on femininity and the woman in my image breaking out of the classical pattern that has been created for her, where she has been objectified and taking a way more active role, being playful with it and creating an entirely new mold for herself to thrive in. This is one of the titular images for the exhibition that is called Unmasked. And I think this image speaks a lot to how the multitude of versions of ourselves can be both fragments and pieces of a breakdown, and they can be hurtful and both live in a perfect harmony together. So it can be both painful and beautiful to be a legion within one physical body. And I wanted to capture an image that would reflect this unique emotion. I feel like since I was a child, I felt a strong urge to express my emotions to other people. I felt a strong urge to connect. And at the same time, I felt that I'm finding no proper words for many of these emotions, many of these movements of my heart and my mind. And it was when I found visual art, first painting and then photography, when I found a way to translate and transmit things that are sometimes too ambiguous for being verbalized into something that is communicatable to other people.